And rather than sit around, we've got them all together today to talk to Angela and to me and to Rachel Reed. But in the budget, which was probably the toughest, I'm really pleased that we were able to put so much money into the National Health Service.
She claims the Tory party's disastrous kamikaze budget that triggered chaos for millions was, her words, the happiest moment of her premiership.
Have you ever felt like politicians say one thing and do another? That's exactly how many Brits are feeling after Keir Starmer's latest speech. His words sound good, but do they match reality? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. In this video, we'll walk you through Starmer's promises and compare them to what's actually happening in the UK. From housing to immigration, we'll show you why people are feeling let down and what it means for you. Starmer's New Year address painted a rosy picture of Britain's future, but does it really match what's happening on the ground?
Mr. Speaker, I'm privileged to be the proud owner of a copy of the former Prime Minister's new book. It's a rare, unsigned copy.
And I took the decision that we would take the hard decisions first. I think anybody who's turned around, I don't know, an organisation or a business.
Mr. Speaker, we live in probably more volatile world than we've lived in for many decades. It is absolutely crucial.
Let's take a closer look at his promises and compare them to the harsh realities facing the UK today. In his speech, Starmer made some bold claims. He promised to create 1.5 million new homes and restore the dream of home ownership for many Brits. He also pledged to reduce immigration and tackle antisocial behaviour in every community. These sound like ambitious goals, but are they realistic given the current state of affairs? The reality paints a starkly different picture. While Starmer talks about reducing immigration, the numbers tell a different story. In 2024, over 36,000 migrants crossed the Channel into Britain, marking a 25% increase compared to the previous year. This surge in migration stands in stark contrast to Starmer's promises and raises questions about Labour's ability to effectively manage the situation. Housing is another area where Starmer's promises seem disconnected from reality. The UK is currently facing a severe housing crisis, with skyrocketing prices and a shortage of affordable homes. While Starmer's pledge to build 1.5 million new homes sounds impressive, critics argue that it's not nearly enough to address the scale of the problem. Moreover, there are concerns about where these homes will be built and whether they'll truly be affordable for the average Brit. The disconnect between Starmer's promises and reality extends to other areas as well. He talks about economic growth and prosperity, but many voters are expressing doubts about Labour's economic plans. Some critics have even labelled Starmer's approach as economically illiterate, questioning whether he can follow through on his promises regarding taxation and public spending. As these inconsistencies become more apparent, public reaction has been swift and critical. Social media platforms are buzzing with skepticism and disappointment. Many Brits feel let down, seeing Starmer's speech as just another example of a politician making grand promises without a realistic plan to deliver. This growing skepticism is reflected in recent polling data, which shows a decline in public trust in Starmer's leadership. Voters are increasingly questioning whether Labour can truly deliver on its promises and bring about the positive changes they've been promising. As we dig deeper into Starmer's rhetoric versus reality, we uncover an even more troubling shift in his stance on free speech. It's a change that has many people worried about the future of civil liberties in the UK. But more on that in a moment. In 2013, Keir Starmer warned against over-prosecuting social media posts. Fast forward to today, and we're seeing people arrested for Facebook comments. What caused this dramatic U-turn, and should we be concerned? Back when Starmer was Director of Public Prosecutions, he took a strong stance on protecting free speech online. He cautioned that excessive prosecution of social media posts could have a chilling effect on free expression. Starmer even emphasized the need to balance resources, focusing on cases that truly required court intervention rather than those that could be resolved with a simple apology and content removal. But oh, how times have changed. Under Starmer's watch, the UK government has taken a much harder line on online speech. We're now seeing people jailed for sharing content deemed offensive. One man received an 18-month sentence for a Facebook comment, while another got 3 years for anti-establishment posts. Even more shocking, a woman was arrested and held for 36 hours simply for mistakenly identifying a suspect in a social media post. These harsh responses stand in stark contrast to Starmer's previous position. As DPP, he highlighted the importance of protecting free expression under Article 10 of the Human Rights Act 1998. He called it an inbuilt safeguard against excessive prosecution. So, what happened to those safeguards? Experts are raising red flags about the potential chilling effect on free speech. There's a growing fear that this crackdown could make citizens think twice before expressing themselves online. Some commentators have even likened the government's approach to tactics used in oppressive regimes. It's a comparison that should make us all sit up and take notice. Starmer and Labour officials have shifted their focus to regulating social media companies more stringently. They're blaming these platforms for exacerbating civil unrest. But this approach further complicates the landscape of free speech in the UK. Are we seeing a genuine attempt to address societal issues, or is this a convenient excuse to tighten control over public discourse? As we grapple with these questions, one thing is clear: the future of free speech in the UK hangs in the balance. Starmer's journey from free speech champion to digital speech crackdown leader raises serious concerns about the direction of civil liberties under Labour. It's a transformation that demands our attention and critical analysis. As we've seen, Keir Starmer's words and actions don't always align. His promises of a brighter Britain clash with the harsh realities of increased immigration and a deepening housing crisis. But perhaps most concerning is his dramatic shift on free speech. Once a champion of online expression, Starmer now oversees a government cracking down on social media posts. This leaves us with some pressing questions. Can we trust politicians who so readily abandon their principles? What does Starmer's flip-flop mean for the future of free speech in the UK? And how can we hold our leaders accountable when their actions contradict their words? It's clear that we can't take political promises at face value. As voters, we must stay informed, ask tough questions, and critically evaluate the claims made by those in power. Only then can we hope to bridge the gap between political rhetoric and reality.